Alright, face frame cabinets and overlays. Here again, on a face frame cabinet, you're going to use the Bloom Compact if you're using Bloom. And these come in various overlays. So most kitchens, before full overlay was a big thing, they just did standard half-inch overlays all the way around. So you would just get a regular hinge like this. If you want to keep the overlays the same, you're going to use a standard half-inch. It's going to say half-inch. It's stamped right in the middle in the front. So all of these Bloom hinges like this, they always have the overlay stamped right in the front. So a half-inch overlay hinge means the door sits a half-inch over the face frame on the left or right, left and right typically, and top and bottom. But typically this is like what a lot of cabinets were built with back in the 90s. When you go to full overlay, you can achieve that with cabinet hinges like this. These hinges go up to 1 9/16 overlay, and so this is only used for places where you have a really big style on a cabinet. If you have a regular 1.5" cabinet, you're probably going to use like an 1.25" overlay. So that means the door sits 1.25" on top of that 1.5" frame, and it means you have a reveal. What's left of that style, the reveal, is only going to be 1/4 inch. That's typically what I use on an 1.5" face frame. If I have a 1 5/8" face frame, which I've seen as well, I might go up to an 1.5" or 1 3/8. Okay, so here's the overlays that you can get. 5/16 is going to be your smallest one. I hardly ever use those unless you have an existing door that's maybe got 1/4 inch overlays. You can fudge it and use that 5/16. 3/8 is the next size, and then you have a 5/8, a half, which is a very common size, and then a 5/8, and then a 3/4, and it jumps from 3/4 up to 1 inch, and from 1 to 1 1/4, and then to 1 3/8. And 1 3/8 is kind of a nice one to have too, because there's scenarios where that works better than an 1.5" or an 1 1/4. So then, so we go from 1 1/4 to 1 3/8, and then we have an 1.5" and an 1 9/16. And an 1 9/16 is the biggest one that they make. That's going to be this style hinge. Now, if you have bigger than 1 9/16, there is a hinge you can use if you're willing to drill into the face of your cabinet. They're called a face mount hinge, and so this is what they look like. So this mounts into the face of the cabinet. You can see that. 2 screws into the face of the cabinet, and then your door, of course, covers that. But this gives you the ability to go greater than 1 9/16. You can't go less than 1 3/8 because of this plate right here. If you would bring this right into the inside edge of your cabinet, you're at 1 3/8. Okay, so at 1 3/8, that's the least you can go. So, but you can go more. Like you could do a 6-inch overlay if you wanted. You could put this as far as you wanted, and then you would. Typically, you won't do that, right? But if you need to go greater than 1 9/16, maybe you've got a situation where you need a 2-inch overlay, then you're going to use something like this. Right? I don't use these much, but I do keep them. Every once in a while I run into a situation where I do use these. Alright, so that's pretty much it for compact hinges. Overlay is how much your door sits on top of the face frame. Reveal is what's left. Let's talk a little bit yet about how to kind of mimic that full overlay look, and we'll do that in the next video.